think one of the reasons that I've always respected Smash Bros. And its creators so much is that they understand the importance of video game music and the weight that the music of these iconic franchises can carry. You know, the original Smash on the N64 had one track for each stage, all of which, if they didn't just rip the song from the original game, were composed by one guy, Hirokazu Ando, and it does give the game a more unified identity than any Smash game has had since. You know, the remixes all have that same N64 brassiness, they all match that similar symphonic feel. These tracks are great and completely iconic to the series, but it's once you get past Melee and onto Brawl that you see Smash music go from a loving tribute to a legitimate, all-time great soundtrack in its own right. A lesser game developer would just rip a couple MP3s from YouTube, import them onto the appropriate stage, and let our nostalgia handle the rest. And hey, sometimes that is the right choice to make. If you're making a Star Wars game or whatever, and you're dealing with iconic moments from the films, and you don't use John Williams' score, it just makes the scene feel inauthentic. However, I don't believe that that would have been the appropriate direction to take Smash. Much like how Smash has to adapt its characters into a fighting game setting, a lot of times the same has to be done for the music. Probably the best example of this is Animal Crossing. This game is as tame as it gets. You can jam this axe into someone's face and this is the sound it makes. Now for contrast, if we could please bring up what happens when you plunge an axe into someone's face in a game that's not Animal Crossing. Thank you. Animal Crossing's music is as peaceful as the game itself. It's got some funk to it, and KK's got some more high energy stuff, but for the most part, it's the last OST you'd want playing behind you at EVO Grand Finals. Mr. Sakurai's even said as much himself. But through the inventive 200 IQ genius of the Smash composers, even these tracks can be turned into quality action game jams. Take Kapp'n's song, for instance. A nice soothing solo to pass the time as you sail to a far-off island, making for the most memorable loading screen in the series. But you take Kapp'n's song, and you put Animal on the drums, and suddenly that act starts to work a lot better. Okay, now, editor, play 2 AM from Animal Crossing Wild World. There's no way this can work in a fighting game, right? Well, did you consider this track being sung by KK Slider, but take that acoustic guitar out of his hand and give him an electric bass, and now we're getting somewhere. Some of the tracks don't go for that higher energy. Stuff like The Roost and Outdoors at 7 PM are fantastic pieces of music, but they definitely remain closer to the original vibe of Animal Crossing. This is actually something that Mr. Sakurai has addressed himself, how in Smash Ultimate he made a point to ensure that each track would fit the mood of battle. He's also said that in Ultimate, composers were mostly allowed to choose their own tracks that they wanted to make. Of course, artistic freedom is almost always a good thing, but beyond that, this really shows just how much Sakurai and crew care about the music in this game. They're 4 Smash games in, they had the essential music down already. They had a remix of the Zelda theme, both title and overworld variants. They had Gerudo Valley and Zelda's Lullaby. But now that those necessities are out of the way, they could have called it a day. But lucky for us, the Smash team has no concept of complacency. They said, sure, now you can go on to do that remix of the Mogera boss theme. Oh, you want to do a remix of Midla's Lament? I mean, we took all the Twilight Princess characters out of this game, but yeah, why not? You want to do the trailer music to the 2017 Nintendo Switch presentation Breath of the Wild trailer that isn't even in the final game? Sounds good. So many great, bizarre picks got into Smash because of this philosophy, and it's not entirely exclusive to Ultimate. A favorite of mine from Brawl, Meta Knight's Revenge, gotta be the best saxophone on the soundtrack. But do you happen to know what the original Meta Knight's Revenge sounds like? I didn't until I started working on this video. The leap in quality is amazing. I can't believe that someone heard this track and had a spark of inspiration to bring it over to Smash, let alone translating it this well. One of my favorites from Smash 4, same thing, Destroyed Skyworld. I don't even know what the original track sounds like. I played Kid Icarus Uprising and I don't remember, and I didn't bother to look it up. But someone thought they had to bring this track to Smash, and I love that person. It's the best reason to play on Palutena's Temple. This also led to many series getting a much needed boost in music representation in Ultimate. Obviously, when you let game composers choose the game music they want to cover, they're gonna tend to gravitate towards the good stuff. This means that Donkey Kong Country finally got some much needed remixes that weren't a 7th variation of Jungle Hijinks. But the two franchises that stand out the most to me in this regard are Mega Man and Castlevania. The Mega Man games contain the greatest soundtracks to ever grace the NES, and its emphasis on rock melodies and unrelenting bass lines makes it a perfect fit for Smash. Having the opportunity to translate these chiptune classics into the modern era was clearly an appealing idea to Smash composers. My favorites of the Mega Man remixes are Woodman, Sparkman, the Mega Man 4 medley, Flashman, Quickman, Topman, Cutman, Snakeman, Metalman. I quite enjoy Mega Man music. Castlevania, on the other hand, got over 30 music tracks right off the bat and brought an incredible variety that few series in Smash can match. And I mean, Vampire Killer and Bloody Tears are two of the most famous game tracks ever, and the most popular Castlevania game literally has Symphony in the title. I don't think there's anything else I need to say here. And don't even get me started on the treasure trove of underappreciated classics that were brought over from SNK. If you don't love and appreciate having Psycho Soldier in Smash Ultimate, I truly pity your soulless existence. I guess I should mention that not every series can be this fortunate. Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, of course, don't have as much musical love. I'm shocked that Xenoblade only has one remix, and Xenoblade X doesn't have a single track to speak of. But then you have something like Pac-Man. Pac-Man is not famous for his music, and the music that they did pull struggled to make the transition. There's a lot of obnoxiously loud arcade sounds. This coming from back when video game music's only purpose was to drown out the sounds of the other 50 cabinets in the arcade so that the 10-year-old's attention would be drawn to you instead of anyone else. And even though not all of the Pac-Man music is quite that old, it feels like Pac-Man as a series never quite escaped these roots. Some tracks just cannot translate to Smash. And sometimes, even phenomenal video game music should not be touched in Smash if it just can't work and will only fail to live up to the legacy of the original. On the other hand, Beneath the Mask, Persona 5. Beneath the Mask is one of my favorite pieces of video game music. There is no better track in all of gaming to work and study to for my money. At least I think so. I go back to college 2 days after I'm writing this script, and this is what my homework playlist looks like. If I have a bachelor's degree in 2 years, then we'll know this works. When Joker was revealed for Smash and we were waiting to see what music tracks he would bring with him, I didn't think this track would appear in Ultimate because it's way too chill and no remix would possibly be able to translate it to a high-energy fighting game without destroying the soothing, smooth spirit of the original song. You already know, Beneath the Mask became one of the most beloved pieces of music to come out of Ultimate. Remember back when I was talking about how some Smash remixes stay true to the original while others shoot off in a wildly new direction? Well, when you get to the big boys level that Beneath the Mask is on, you do both. As soon as the vocals start, the track puts this bass line right in the forefront that's more swanky than Swanky Kong drunk at karaoke after they told him he was never going to appear in a Donkey Kong game again. But at the same time, it's got the classic Persona 5 strings coming in between verses, and they even brought in the original singer to re-record the song just for this remix. That didn't happen in Smash remixes prior to this track. This track represents everything that makes Smash remixes great, and it's a piece of music that is truly ace. Get it? If you didn't get it, this remix was arranged by a duo named Ace. I'm sorry if I confused you. If you want to make the case that literally any piece of great video game music, regardless of tone or vibe, can make a great Smash remix if you get the right composer behind it, Beneath the Mask might very well be the best example you can point at to back up that claim. On the other hand, Stickerbush Symphony, Donkey Kong Country 2. Stickerbush Symphony is one of the best pieces of video game music, period. You either know this as a fact of life, or you are dead. This was one of the first pieces of Donkey Kong music besides Jungle Hijinks to get a remix in Smash. all the way back in Brawl. And I have to be honest with you all, I played the whole Donkey Kong Country trilogy I don't know how many times as a kid, but it wasn't until years after I started playing Brawl and actually discovering my love for video game music that I even realized that this track right here was a remix of Stickerbush. The remix has a much more consistent sense of rhythm, and its sounds are so tangible, so immediately identifiable, as opposed to the moody ambiance of the original, giving energy and momentum to one of gaming's most tranquil tracks. I have to give it up to the composer of this remix, Michiko Naruke, for having such a brilliant vision for this track to both honor its legacy as well as carve out its own. The idea for this video actually started out as a tribute to the composers behind Smash's remixes. So few video game composers get the credit they rightfully deserve, and that's a shame. Video game music is just as valuable as any other form of music, and I wanted to end this video celebrating 5 composers that have delivered some of Smash's best music and some of my personal favorites. Like the artist I just mentioned, Michiko Naruke, who not only delivered 2 of the most iconic tracks from Brawl in Stickerbush Symphony and the Ocarina of Time medley, but has continued to do amazing work all the way up to Ultimate, giving the game one of my favorite new remixes, Bloody Tears. Just to recap, that's Stickerbush Symphony, Zelda's Lullaby, and Bloody Tears. That is an all-star lineup of well-known and beloved video game music tracks, and this incredible artist pounds out remixes of them for Smash like it's nothing. Now all she needs to do is give us a Smash remix of Enjoy the Dungeon from Earthbound, and she'll have pretty much remixed every piece of flawless video game music ever composed. Speaking of flawless game music, another composer I already mentioned in this video, Ace, who brought us Beneath the Mask. This duo hit the scene in Smash 4 with some solid arrangements, including the only remix the Xenoblade series has seen, which makes sense. Ace has composed a lot of the music for the Xenoblade series, and they also brought some of the best remixes to the Mega Man franchise. But that is not the Ace music we should be talking about here. When you think of Smash Ultimate remixes, what is the first remix that comes to your mind? If it's not something like Beneath the Mask, then I have a pretty good guess that it would be... People were just as excited to hear this remix of Gangplank Galleon as they were to see the reveal of K. Rool himself. If the remixes of Gangplank Galleon and Beneath the Mask were the only 2 pieces of music that Ace ever composed for video gaming, that alone is probably enough to keep them among the ranks of my all-time favorite video game composers. How about someone I haven't talked about yet? Shogo Sakai. This man arranged over 30 tracks between Melee and Brawl, including the opening theme to Melee, but this video is about remixes, and his stuff is some of the most well-known stuff in the Smash world, and there is too much stuff to list. But here's some stuff that are highlights for me personally. Super Mario Bros. 3 ground theme, Brinstar from Melee, Slide, Snowman, Ruby Sapphire Wild Pokemon battle theme, the main theme from Luigi's Mansion, the Mario Bros. Theme, Fever from Dr. Mario, the title theme for The Legend of Zelda, Brinstar Depths, You Call This Utopia, the Fire Emblem theme, and Story 5 Meeting, which makes up half of all the Fire Emblem remixes in this game that I actually listened to, and the crowning jewel of the Melee soundtrack, Temple, the remix of the Temple theme from Zelda 2. I don't know why Mr. Sakai didn't compose music for Smash after Brawl, but the marvelous pieces he did contribute to the series have proven to be timeless, even among the 800 octillion tracks that Ultimate has. One last composer I want to show some gratitude here. When I started making this video, I had no idea how many of my favorite tracks throughout Smash were composed by Yoko Shimomura. I've barely played any games that this artist has composed, but her legacy within the world of video game music is so powerful and renowned that I've known her name for years. She's most famous for her work on Kingdom Hearts, and let me tell ya, I've played a few games for a few hours, but I haven't really played Kingdom Hearts. I don't want to play Kingdom Hearts. After that Final Fantasy VII remake, I really don't want to play Kingdom Hearts. But I feel like I'll have to one day, and when that time comes, the silver lining that'll help push me through those games is getting to hear more music from this artist. Yoko Shimomura is responsible for the Smash remixes of Magic Ant from Smash 4, Gritzy Desert, Try Again, King Dedede's theme from Brawl, Treasure Trove Cove, and when a composer can pull off a Banjo-Kazooie track that I actually like and think works well within Smash as a track, that's some next level talent. I don't know that these tracks I listed are massive fan favorites like some of the others I mentioned, like Temple or Gangplank Galleon, but when I looked up the Smash tracks that were most memorable to me, I was shocked and delighted to see this name pop up so many times. I mean, this genius made the Tetris song an epic battle theme for Smash. How are you gonna top that? Alright everyone, I think it's about time I let you go. So I will leave you now with my parting thoughts on the subject matter of the day. Thank you Smash Ultimate for finally allowing some composers from outside of Japan to provide remixes for Smash. Spiral Mountain is the best tuned banjo god, and Megalovania, I guess, counts as a new arrangement in the most literal definition of the phrase. Yeah, the track is still legendary. I couldn't find a clean spot in the script to naturally talk about how the Gourmet Race remix on FOD and Melee arranged by Tadashi Ikegami is godlike and the only track that will ever play on that stage for me. I also want to take a minute to thank my Discord server here. With literally hundreds of tracks to comb through to make sure I wasn't missing anything great, I had asked them what some of their favorite remixes in Smash were, and they were able to help me pick out some gems that had slipped my mind. Some of the tracks that came up a lot in our discussions that I didn't get to go over here were Gourmet Race from Brawl, which was composed by Motoi Sakuraba. Sounds like the total opposite you'd ever expect a Kirby song to sound like, and it works. If I was going to talk about one more composer in depth today, it would be him. Also the Fortress Boss music from Mario 3, arranged by Akihiro Honda. A fantastic revival of one of the original great boss anthems that's one of the most danceable tracks on the Smash OST. And the Fire Emblem Three Houses main theme, also arranged by Akihiro Honda. I guess if I had time to talk about two more composers, he'd be on that list too. You can really tell they felt they had to up the intensity for this track in Smash. I mean, the original version of the Three Houses theme worked fine for Fire Emblem. You know, a nice little theme for a pretty cute game about a group of high school friends fighting each other because one of them got their hair dyed a color she didn't like. But now this song is in Smash, which is very much a man's game. You got this dude from the army choking out a 10-year-old, there's this skinny emo kid shooting a squirrel on a plane flying over a volcano while the other 10-year-old gets cooked alive. So yeah, get some extra drums, crescendo a little more, and give the vocals a slight rock edge. We don't play around here in Smashville. And while we're in Smashville together, let me know what your favorite Smash remixes are. I am confident that I missed a ton of great tracks. And bonus points if you name the composer that arranged your favorite track. Someday I'll have to make more dedicated videos on the fantastic video game composers that people don't talk about enough. I'll also have to talk about the original music in Smash someday too, because I think talking about Smash music without discussing Nobuo Uematsu's Brawl theme is actually illegal in a few countries.
Stop! You violated the law.
Huh. Looks like America is one of those countries.